welcome to the Deep Dive. We've curated this specifically for you, the UPSC aspirant, looking at key current affairs for June 3rd, 2025. This is part 1.
That's right. We're pulling from sources like PIB, The Hindu, Hindustan Times, Mint, TOI, NIE, and Financial Express.
Think of this as a targeted way to stay informed on today's crucial developments.
Exactly. And, some topics might be familiar, a good chance for revision, while others might be brand new insights.
Absolutely. Our mission is, well, simple. Unpack the important stuff, give you some context, maybe a surprising fact or two, and make it stick. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay. Kicking us off, we've got a pretty big headline from PIB. Goa has apparently achieved full literacy under the ULLAS Nav Bharat Saksharta Karyakram. That sounds significant.
It really is. A major milestone for Goa and for the program itself, ULLAS. That stands for Understanding Lifelong Learning for All in Society. It's a centrally sponsored scheme.
Centrally sponsored. And when did it start?
It rolled out in 2022, and it's slated to run through 2027.
Okay, 2027. And I imagine it connects with the National Education Policy, NEP 2020.
Spot on. It's explicitly aligned with NEP 2020. Its core focus is on adults, specifically those aged 15 and older who, missed out on formal schooling.
So the main aim is really about empowerment, bringing them into the fold.
Precisely. To empower them, integrate them better into society, and help them contribute to, national growth. And it's not just basic reading and writing.
Oh, what else does it cover?
It actually has 5 key components: foundational literacy and numeracy, critical life skills, basic education, vocational skills, and importantly, continuing education.
That's quite comprehensive. Life skills, vocational training. That's practical. There seems to be a strong community angle, too.
Definitely. The vision is Yan Sakshar, every person literate, and it's driven by a spirit of kartavya bodh, a sense of duty. A huge part of the implementation relies on volunteerism.
Volunteerism. That's interesting for a national scheme. How do they manage the logistics, the learning materials with volunteers? Is technology involved?
Technology is key, yeah. There's a U.S. app for registration. Learners can self-register or surveyors can enroll them. And it connects learners to resources on the NAKSHA portal.
Ah, NAKSHA, familiar ground for many.
Right, managed by NSERT. So it provides that digital gateway to learning materials.
So with Goa hitting full literacy under ULLAS, that's a big step toward India's larger goal, right? Which is full literacy by 2030.
That's the national target, yes. And this whole program falls under the Ministry of Education. Naturally, Goa's success is a really positive sign.
Okay, so key takeaways for ULLAS. Centrally sponsored, running 2022-2027, linked to NEP 2020, targets adults, 15+ IA 5 components, volunteer-driven, uses the ULLAS app and NAKSHA portal, and Ministry of Education. Goa's achievement really stands out.
It really highlights the potential impact.
All right, shifting gears now. From literacy to, the environment. The Hindu has a striking report about a glacier collapse in Switzerland.
Oh, yes, the Birch Glacier in the Lechtal Valley, northern Switzerland.
That's the one. Apparently, the collapse blocked the Lonza River.
Yeah.
But the really fascinating part, almost counterintuitive, is that this glacier was supposedly the only one in Switzerland still advancing, not retreating. How does that even happen?
It is quite paradoxical, isn't it? Especially with all the news about melting glaciers. But the advance wasn't because of more snow or colder weather.
No. Then what?
Well, the thinking among glaciologists is that it was likely due to significant rock falls from the mountain above, basically piling up on the glacier. The Sabri load sort of pushed it forward.
So it was moving because it was overloaded with rock, not growing with ice.
Exactly, a kind of preloading that ultimately made it unstable and led to the collapse. It really shows how complex these systems can be.
Wow. But even with that unusual cause, its collapse still fits into the bigger picture of global warming impacting glaciers.
Oh, absolutely. This didn't happen in a vacuum. It's occurring against the backdrop of widespread, accelerating glacial retreat across Switzerland and the Alps, driven primarily by climate change. Scientists have been warning about this rapid thaw for years.
And Switzerland's particularly affected, having the most glaciers in Europe.
It is, and the losses are staggering. In 2023 alone, they lost about 4% of their total glacier volume.
4% in 1 year.
Yes, and that came after an even worse year in 2022 when they lost 6%. These numbers really hammer home the severity of the warming impact.
It's hard to even visualize that scale of loss. Just quickly, can you remind us of the basic definition of a glacier?
Sure. Simply put, it's a large, long-lasting body of ice, snow, rock, sediment, even liquid water that originates on land and moves under its own weight, by gravity.
Moving under its own weight. Got it. And a quick trivia point, the biggest glacier in the world is?
That would be the Lambert Glacier down in Antarctica.
Lambert Glacier, okay.
Yeah.
Birch Glacier. Switzerland, Lonza River blockage, unusual advance due to rockfalls, but collapsed amidst Switzerland's rapid overall glacier loss, 4% in 2023, 6% in 2022, highlighting the bigger warming trend.
A really potent example of local geology interacting with global climate forces.
Okay, let's move from the Alps to a wetland closer to home. Hindustan Times reports a rare bird sighting at Nalsarovar Bird Sanctuary.
Nalsarovar, yes. A very important ecological spot. It's about 64 kilometers west of Ahmedabad in Gujarat.
Known for that large, shallow lake, lots of small islands, right? Something like 360 islets?
That's right. The whole sanctuary covers around 120 square kilometers. Very shallow waters, muddy lagoons, those numerous islets, perfect habitat for birds.
And does it have a long natural history as a lake?
It's actually got an interesting origin story. The lake itself was largely formed back in the 15th century. A check dam was built across the Sabarmati River, initially for things like irrigation and drinking water.
A man-made origin, then?
Essentially, yes. But over time, it just naturally became this incredible bird habitat. The British even recognized its importance early in the 20th century. It was officially declared a bird sanctuary by the Gujarat government in 1969.
So an infrastructure project inadvertently created this haven. And it's got international recognition, too.
It does. It was designated as a Ramsar site back in 2012, acknowledging its significance as a wetland of international importance.
Ramsar Site 2012 makes sense. What about the biodiversity? What lives there besides the birds? Flora first, maybe?
Sure. The source mentions around 48 species of algae, 72 species of flowering plants. You find typical aquatic plants like cyperus species, Serpis species, Typha, Rupia, Paramajagaton, that kind of thing.
A rich aquatic environment. And the birds, the main story.
Oh, absolutely. It hosts around 250 bird species, huge flocks of flamingos, both greater and lesser pelicans, lots of ducks and geese, cranes like the Saris crane, cormorants, herons, egrets, storks, ibises, spoonbills, teals, moorhens, and so many waders. It's an amazing spectacle.
Sounds incredible. Any other significant animals around the sanctuary?
Yeah, it's not just birds. On the fringes, especially south or southwest, you can find small herds of wild ass. Also mongoose, jungle cat, Indian fox, jackal, wolf, even hyenas are present in the larger landscape.
Wild ass and hyenas. Adds another layer. Okay, so the specific news was about a rare bird sighting.
That was the headline grabber, yes. A rare Arctic seabird, the Seabean's gull, was spotted there.
Seabean's gull, also called the fork-tailed gull or zeem. Why is that sighting so rare in India?
Well, it's the first confirmed sighting in India since 2013, when one was seen down in Kerala. These gulls normally breed way up in the subarctic and high Arctic, think in northern Canada, Russia, Greenland, Svalbard. So seeing one in Gujarat is quite unusual.
A long way from home. Are they distinctive looking? Easy to identify.
They are quite striking, especially in flight. They have this unique wing pattern, pale gray back and upper wings, then sharp black primary feathers and bright white secondary feathers, plus a noticeably forked white tail. Pretty unmistakable if you get a good look.
That wing pattern sounds like a key ID feature.
Yeah.
And its conservation status. Is it endangered?
Thankfully, no. The IUCN lists the Seabean's gull as least concern.
Good to know. Okay, so Nalsarovar, Gujarat, near Ahmedabad, formed by a 15th century dam on the Sabarmati, declared a sanctuary in '69, Ramsar site since 2012. Rich in aquatic plants and hosts about 250 bird species, plus mammals like wild ass on the fringes. And the big news, a rare Seabean's gull sighting, first in India since 2013.
It really underscores how interconnected these migratory routes are and the value of these wetland habitats.
Let's switch back to governance and tech. PIB reports on the NAKSHA program. What's this about?
Right, NAKSHA. This comes from the Department of Land Resources, which is under the Ministry of Rural Development. They've just started the second phase of a capacity building program related to NAKSHA, started June 2nd.
Capacity building. Where is this happening?
Across 5 designated centers of excellence, or COEs, around the country.
And NAKSHA itself. What does it stand for? What does it do?
NAKSHA stands for National Geospatial Knowledge-Based Land Survey of Urban Habitations. So essentially, it's about mapping urban areas using geospatial technology.
Urban mapping. Is it connected to any larger digital initiatives?
Yes, it's actually a specific city survey initiative that falls under the existing Digital India Land Records Modernization Program, DRMP.
Ah, DILRMP. That's the big push to digitize land records, improve transparency, use GIS.
Exactly. NAKSHA takes that concept specifically into towns and cities. It started as a pilot project
A pilot? Where?
in 152 urban local bodies spread across 26 states.
Any particular criteria for choosing those pilot cities?
Yes, the source mentioned they targeted smaller urban areas for the pilot specifically, those with an area less than 35 square kilometers, and also below a certain population threshold, though the exact number wasn't given.
Okay, smaller towns first.
Yeah.
Who's doing the actual mapping work, the technical side?
The Survey of India is the main technical partner. They handle the aerial surveys and provide the high-resolution, orthorectified imagery. Often they use third-party vendors to help the state governments with this.
Makes sense. Survey of India has the expertise. What are the ultimate goals here? What's NAKSHA trying to achieve?
The main goal is to create a comprehensive geospatial database for urban land records. It brings together aerial surveys, ground surveys, and GIS data.
A complete digital picture of urban land.
Right. And the aim is to seriously improve land governance, make property records much more streamlined and reliable, and provide solid data for urban planning. Ultimately, it should lead to better decisions, more efficient land use, and smoother property transactions.
Streamlining property transactions, that would be a huge benefit. Okay. NAKSHA program, depth of land resources, Ministry of Rural Development, Phase 2 capacity building just started. It's an urban survey program under DLRMP. Survey of India is the tech partner. Uses geospatial tech for better land records, governance planning, and easier transactions.
It's really about using modern tools for better urban management at a foundational level.
Okay, moving to a critical health topic now. The Hindu highlighted preeclampsia, coinciding with World Preeclampsia Day on May 22nd.
Yes, a very serious condition. It develops during pregnancy, usually after the 20-week mark.
And the classic signs are high blood pressure and protein in the urine, correct?
Those are the key markers, yes. But it can also affect other organs, kidneys, liver, even the brain.
Sounds dangerous. What happens if it's not treated?
If it's not managed properly, preeclampsia can have, well, devastating consequences. It can be fatal for both the mother and the baby. It's a major global maternal health issue.
Can it emerge even after the baby is born?
It can, unfortunately. That's called postpartum preeclampsia. It can develop after delivery.
Do we know what causes it?
The exact cause isn't fully understood, sadly. But the leading theory revolves around problems with the placenta, either its development or the blood vessels supplying it.
So, related to the pregnancy support system itself, what about symptoms? Is it always obvious?
That's part of the danger. No, not always. Many women are asymptomatic. For those who do show symptoms, besides the high BP and protein in urine, they might experience significant swelling or water retention, sudden weight gain, severe headaches, vision problems like blurriness or light sensitivity, seeing spots, pain in the upper right abdomen, shortness of breath.
Some of those sound like they could overlap with normal pregnancy symptoms, like swelling.
They can, which is why regular prenatal checkups monitoring blood pressure and urine are so crucial, especially after 20 weeks. It's often the combination and severity that raises flags.
Is there a cure? What's the treatment?
The only definitive cure is delivering the baby.
Delivery itself resolves the underlying issue.
Correct. That's the only way to stop the progression related to the pregnancy. But importantly, the symptoms can sometimes persist for 6 weeks or even longer after birth. Management before delivery involves stabilizing the mother and carefully deciding the best time and way to deliver, considering the stage of pregnancy and severity.
How common is it globally?
The WHO estimates it affects somewhere between 2% and 8% of pregnancies worldwide.
2 to 8%. And
Yes.
the mortality figures are quite stark.
They are deeply concerning. Preeclampsia and related complications account for roughly 46,000 maternal deaths globally each year, and tragically, around 500,000 fetal and newborn deaths. It's responsible for about 10% of maternal deaths in Asia and Africa specifically.
A huge burden, especially in some regions. Are there known risk factors?
Yes, several. One mentioned in the source is maternal age women aged 35 or older are considered at higher risk.
Okay, preeclampsia. Serious pregnancy condition, post 20 weeks, high BP, protein in urine, affects organs, potentially fatal, can occur postpartum, cause likely placental blood vessel issues.
Yeah.
Symptoms vary, can be absent, only cure is delivery, but symptoms can linger. Affects 2 to 8% globally, major cause of maternal infant mortality, Asia, Africa. Age 35 plus is a risk factor.
absolutely vital to raise awareness about this and the importance of prenatal care.
Let's shift now to a place of incredible natural beauty. And good news, it's just reopened for the season. The new Indian Express reports the Valley of Flowers National Park is open to tourists.
Ah, the Valley of Flowers, a truly breathtaking place in the Chamali district of Uttarakhand.
And it's got that special global recognition, right?
It does. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
UNESCO status. And it's part of a larger protected area.
Yes, it forms one of the two core zones of the Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve. The other core zone being Nanda Devi National Park itself.
Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve. I remember hearing a story about its discovery.
Yes, the popular account is that it was sort of accidentally discovered in 1931 by 3 British mountaineers. They were led by Frank S. Smythe, got lost coming back from an expedition, and stumbled into this valley just bursting with flowers.
What a discovery. How big is the park itself?
It covers about 87 square kilometers, nestled within that bigger biosphere reserve.
And the landscape is quite distinct compared to Nanda Devi MP.
It is. The source highlights its relatively gentle alpine meadow landscape, which contrasts beautifully with the rugged high peaks of Nanda Devi. It forms a unique transition zone between the Zanskar and the Great Himalaya ranges.
An ecological meeting point. And the flowers, of course, are legendary. What grows there?
Oh, just an incredible diversity. Orchids, poppies, primulas, marigolds, daisies, anemones. Waves of color.
Yeah.
It's also known for being rich in medicinal plants and herbs, and in some parts you find subalpine forests with birch and rhododendron.
More than just flowers, then. What about wildlife? Any significant animals?
Yes, it's home to some rare and fascinating wildlife, too. Gray langur, flying squirrel, Himalayan weasel, black bear, red fox, lime butterfly, and perhaps most famously the elusive snow leopard.
Snow leopard. Wow. Okay, so it's reopened. When's the best time to actually go and see the flowers in bloom?
Generally, the peak season, according to the source's FAQs, is during the monsoon months, July to September. That's when the valley is carpeted in flowers.
July to September. Good to know. And just quickly, since it's a UNESCO site, their overall mission.
Broadly, UNESCO aims to build peace, eradicate poverty, promote sustainable development, and foster intercultural dialogue through education, sciences, culture, communication, and information. World Heritage Sites are places recognized for outstanding universal value, categorized as cultural, natural, or mixed. Valley of Flowers is a natural site.
Got it. Natural World Heritage Site. So Valley of Flowers, Uttarakhand, UNESCO site, core zone of Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve, discovered 1931, 87 square kilometers, transition zone, amazing flora, flowers, medicinal plants, forests, rare fauna, and snow leopard. Just reopened. Best visited July, September.
A real gem needing careful management and protection.
Okay, moving back towards the economy, specifically agriculture, Financial Express reports on something called the Krishi Nivesh Portal.
Right, this is an initiative from the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. The main goal here is pretty straightforward, to boost and speed up investment in the agriculture sector.
Boost investment. How does this portal actually do that? What's the mechanism?
It acts as an integrator. It brings together information and access points for various schemes from different central ministries and also state governments, all onto one single digital platform. That's the Krishi Nivesh portal.
Ah, so like a single window system for agricultural schemes.
Exactly, a one-stop shop. It's designed for everyone involved, farmers, entrepreneurs, bigger industries, giving them easy access to info on all these different government support schemes.
That sounds incredibly useful, cutting down on the bureaucracy of finding information.
That's the idea. The source calls it a one-stop place for availing the subsidized benefits. It basically connects people wanting to invest or get support in agriculture with the relevant government programs.
And the bigger picture goal?
It's about strengthening agribusinesses, attracting more private investment into the sector, and ultimately helping to improve farmers' incomes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about using the portal itself? Is it user-friendly? What can it do?
It functions as a central place to, track investment opportunities, check the status of your applications if you've applied for something, and get all the scheme details without hunting around. It's meant to streamline the whole investment process, make it more transparent, more efficient.
Transparency and efficiency, always good. Any specific features mentioned?
Yes, it's highlighted as having a user-friendly interface. It also apparently offers real-time help via a chatbot. It includes interactive dashboards, which could be useful for analysis and decision-making.
Chatbot assistance is helpful. How many schemes are actually on there right now? And from which ministries?
Currently, it provides information on 17 flagship schemes in the agriculture and allied sectors. This includes some major ones like the Agri-Infra Fund, AIF, the Animal Husbandry Infra Fund, AHIDF, PM Kisan Sampada Yoshana, and PM QFM.
Okay, 17 key schemes from how many ministries?
These schemes come from 7 different ministries that are currently participating and using the portal. The list includes agriculture, food processing, rural development, Jal Shakti, new and renewable energy, and fertilizers.
7 ministries integrated. That's quite a coordination effort. Okay, Krishi Nivesh portal. Ministry of Agriculture Initiative, a digital one-stop shop for agri-schemes, central and state, targets farmers, investors, industry, aims to boost investment and farmer income, streamlines process, has chatbot dashboards, covers 17 flagship schemes from 7 ministries.
It represents a significant digital step to make agricultural support more accessible.
All right, next up, something from the world of defense tech. The Times of India has a piece on the Turkish Bayraktar TB2 drone. Sounds like it's hit a bit of a rough patch reputation-wise.
Yes, that seems to be the angle. The report links this to recent events involving Pakistan's drone fleet during something called Operation Sindoor. Apparently, there were significant failures with their Turkish-origin drones, which has, well, damaged the TB2's image.
Okay, so a specific operational issue is the context. But what is the Bayraktar TB2? What kind of drone are we talking about?
It's a male medium-altitude, long-endurance tactical UAV, primarily designed for ISR duties, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. But it's also an armed drone.
ISR and attack capable. And it's a Turkish product.
Yes, it was actually Turkey's first domestically developed armed UAV, a significant milestone for them.
What made it so popular internationally before this recent news?
A big part of its appeal has been its cost-effectiveness. It's generally seen as a capable platform, but significantly cheaper than many Western or Israeli competitors. Part of that cost saving comes from using commercial off-the-shelf CO test components.
Ah, CO test parts. Makes sense for cost and maybe maintenance too. What does it look like? Any key design features?
It's got a pretty standard high-wing monoplane design, good for stability and endurance. It has a V-tail configuration. Size-wise, it has a 12-meter wingspan. It's about 6.5 meters long and 2.2 meters high.
12-meter wingspan? Decent size? How does it perform? Range? How long can it stay up? What can it carry?
It can operate up to 300 kilometers from its ground control station. Endurance is quite good, up to 27 hours airborne. And it has a payload capacity of 150 kilograms.
150 kilos. What kind of payload?
It can carry guided munitions, most notably the laser-guided MAM missiles, which the source says are powerful enough to take out armored vehicles.
Anti-armor capability. Significant. And its speed.
Maximum speed is around 130 kilometers per hour, with the cruising speed closer to 100 kilometers per hour. It's not super fast, built more for endurance.
Makes sense for ISR. What about its sensors, its eyes?
It's equipped with pretty sophisticated sensor packages, high-res cameras for day and night vision, laser designators for guiding munitions, target finders, that sort of thing.
Got the necessary tech. And circling back to cost, how much cheaper are we talking?
The source puts the cost somewhere between $2 million and $5 million per drone, which is roughly, they estimate, about a quarter of the price of some other comparable military drones.
A quarter of the price? That's a huge difference. Yeah. So Bayraktar TB2, Turkish male UAV, ISR and attack, first armed drone developed domestically, known for low-cost COTS parts. Recent reputational issue linked to Pakistan operation. Specs, 12-meter wingspan, 300 kilometers range, 27-hour endurance, 150-kilogram payload, enclassed anti-armor missiles, advanced sensors, significantly cheaper than competitors.
Its story really reflects the changing dynamics in the global drone market and how operational realities impact perception.
Okay, finally, let's circle back to geography in a major river system. The Times of India also reported on the Dibang River, specifically an IAF rescue during flooding.
Yes, that was a successful operation by the Indian Air Force. They rescued 14 people, 13 from Assam, one other who were stranded on a river island because the Dibang River was flooding in Arunachal Pradesh.
So the Dibang flows through both Arunachal and Assam.
It does. It's a really significant tributary of the Brahmaputra River system up in the northeast.
And Dibang Valley District in Arunachal is named after it.
That's correct, yes.
Can you trace its path? Where does it start?
It originates way up near Kia Pass, very close to the Indo-Chinese border, in the upper Dibang Valley district of Arunachal. High altitude start.
High Himalayas. What's the terrain like up there?
It flows through the Great Himalayan mountain range initially. That northern and eastern part of Arunachal borders Tibet. The Mishmi Hills are a prominent feature along its upper course.
Mishmi Hills.
They're essentially a southern extension of the Himalayas, very rugged, average elevation around 15,000 feet, with key passes.
And after the mountains?
After flowing through Arunachal, it descends into the plains of Assam.
And where does it meet the Brahmaputra?
It's part of a major confluence. The Dibang joins the Lohit River and the Shang River. Together, these three form the main channel of the Brahmaputra River in Assam.
Shang, Lohit, Dibang forming the Brahmaputra. That's a key geographical point. Does the Dibang have its own major tributaries?
Yes, it does. The source mentions several. The Dry, Mathun, Talon, Ma, Ahi, Emra, and Owa rivers feed into the Dibang.
Quite a network. And the recent IAF rescue really highlights the river's power, especially during flood season.
Absolutely. It underscores the challenges these powerful Himalayan rivers can pose, particularly during monsoons.
Beyond its natural flow, there's a huge infrastructure project planned on the Dibang, isn't there?
Yes, the Dibang Multipurpose Project. It's a major undertaking planned for the river in the Arunafal, designed for both flood control and hydroelectric power generation.
Multi-purpose. How big are we talking?
Massive. The planned installed capacity is 2,880 megawatts. That would make it the largest hydropower facility in India once completed.
Biggest hydro project in the country. Who's building it?
India's state-owned NHPC, National Hydroelectric Power Corporation, is the developer.
NHPC. Is the flood control aspect serious or mainly about power?
No, the source stresses it's designed as an energy storage project with flood moderation as a primary goal, alongside power generation. It's intended to help manage the river's flow and reduce downstream flood impacts.
So, directly addressing the kind of situation that led to the rescue.
That's certainly part of the rationale. And the scale of the construction is immense. It involves building a huge dam.
How huge?
A concrete gravity dam planned to be 278 meters high and 375 meters long. According to the source, that will make it the highest concrete gravity dam in India.
Highest concrete gravity dam in India.
Yeah.
That really puts the scale in perspective. Okay, Dibang River, Brahmaputra tributary, Arunachal Pradesh, starts near Kia Pass Indo-China border, flows through Mishmi Hills, joins Lohitchiang to form Brahmaputra. Recent IAF flood rescue. Site of the massive Dibang Multipurpose Project, NHPC, India's biggest hydro project planned, flood control plus power, will feature India's highest concrete gravity dam.
It's a river of immense geographical significance, now also the focus of very ambitious development plans.
Wow, okay. We've covered a lot of ground today. From the ULLAS literacy program hitting targets in Goa,
To the strange case of the collapsing Birch Glacier in Switzerland.
rare birds at Nalsarovar Sanctuary,
Digitizing urban land records with NAKSHA.
the serious health issue of preeclampsia,
Reopening the stunning Valley of Flowers.
a new portal, Krishi Nivish, for agri-investment,
The ups and downs of the Bayraktar drone.
and finally, the mighty Dibang River and its massive planned project.
That's quite a sweep, and keeping across these diverse current events is just so crucial for your preparation. You need that broad understanding.
Absolutely. And think about the connections, perhaps. How might better human capital from ULLAS support complex projects like Dibang, or help people use tools like NAKSHA or Krishi Nivish?
Or how global issues, like melting glaciers, seen with Birch, reinforce the need for conserving precious ecosystems like the Valley of Flowers right here.
Right. Which brings us to a final thought for you to ponder. We touched on quite a bit of technology today, the ULLAS app, NAKSHA's geospatial tools, the Krishi Nivish portal's chatbot, the sensors on the Bayraktar.
So here's the question. Beyond their specific uses, what do these technologies, their development, their deployment, even their failures, tell us about the broader trends? How is technology reshaping governance, resource management, security, and even social development in India and globally?
Something to think about. If you found this deep dive useful for navigating current affairs and helping your prep, please do hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our future updates.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,